glad you're very welcome too. Now, we've been learning about Jesus' ministry, we've moved on to Jesus' teaching, and last week we heard about how Jesus was teaching crowds and crowds of people. We said he was maybe 5,000 or more people. This week we're going to hear about something a little bit different. Jesus teaching individual people, people on their own. They've got to talk to Jesus all by themselves. Last week we also heard about the Pharisees. The Pharisees were those people who knew all about God's laws. They were good people. They tried to do good things. They knew all about God's laws, and they were responsible for teaching the people about God's laws and how important it was to keep his laws. And one of those Pharisees was a man called Nicodemus. Now Nicodemus was a Pharisee, so he was a good man. He liked to do good things. But he had heard about Jesus. He'd heard about Jesus' teaching. He'd heard about the miracles that Jesus was doing. And he wanted to find out more for himself. I don't know, maybe he had some specific questions that he wanted to ask, but he wanted to speak to Jesus. And so he went to find him. But he went at night. Now we don't know why he did that. It might have been because he thought, well, all the crowds will have gone home. I get to speak to Jesus by myself. Or it might have been that he was scared what the other Pharisees would think if he wanted to talk to Jesus. Because remember, they didn't really like Jesus. But either way, Nicodemus went to find Jesus. And like I said, he went at night. Now, Jesus didn't say, oh, Nicodemus, I'm too tired now. I spent all day teaching. And he didn't say, it's far too late. And he didn't say, why not come back tomorrow when I'm going to be teaching the people anyway? No. Jesus knew that Nicodemus had made an effort to come and speak to him. And Jesus knew that there was something that Nicodemus needed to learn, and Jesus was the one who wanted to teach him. So he said to Nicodemus, no one will ever see the kingdom of God unless they're born again. Knowing about God, doing things that God has asked us to do, none of that is good enough. No one will get to see the kingdom of heaven unless you're born again. You see, I could know all about God. In fact, do you know King Charles? You've all heard of King Charles. He's our king. I can tell you all about King Charles. I can tell you when his birthday was. He was born on the 14th of November 1948. I can tell you who his mum and dad were. I can tell you that he had 2 brothers and 1 sister. I can tell you his wife's name is Camilla. I can tell you he has 2 sons called William and Harry, and he has 5 grandchildren. So I know all about his family. But I'm not part of his family. I'm not even his friend. So I couldn't ring him up and have a chat. I couldn't call in for a cup of tea the next time I'm in London. Much as that might be a nice idea. I couldn't do that because I'm not even his friend. And you know what? He's never heard of me. So although I might know all about King Charles, I don't actually know him. And knowing about God is different from actually knowing him. But Nicodemus was puzzled. What's this being born again stuff that Jesus was talking about? I don't even know what that means. And Jesus started to explain it. He said, everyone starts off as a little baby. They're born into a family. Like Nicodemus comes here. He's born into a family. He has his mum and dad who will love him and look after him. Nicodemus also has Ari and Maury as part of his family. But that is his family on earth. That's his earthly family. And they will look after him and love him. But each one of us, deep inside, we have our soul, our spirit. And we need to have a spiritual family as well. We need to ask God to be our spiritual father. Then it's like we're born into God's family, where we have other Christians who will help and support us with God as our spiritual father. And that's what Jesus meant by being born again, being born into a spiritual family. Jesus also said to Nicodemus that he had come to die on the cross, and that anyone who believed in him would then get to see heaven by believing in Jesus and his death on the cross and resurrection. And then comes the most famous verse in the whole of the Bible, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but will have everlasting life. And that's what Jesus wanted to teach to Nicodemus. The other person that we're going to think about who also got to speak to Jesus alone is very different. You see, Nicodemus was seen as a good person. He was a Pharisee who tried to do good things. But the other person we're going to think about today, I don't even know her name, but it was a lady, and people thought that she was a bad person. She had done some bad things, and people didn't like her. In fact, it seems that she didn't really have any friends. You see, the ladies in her village, every morning they went to the well to collect water, but this lady didn't go with them. She didn't have any friends. They didn't like her. So she waited until later, and she went by herself to get the water when there was no one else around. That's when she went. She was lonely and alone. Now, Jesus and his disciples, they were on a journey. They were walking from one place to another, and Jesus said, I have to go through Samaria. And Samaria was where this lady lived. But actually, if you looked at the map, Jesus didn't really need to go that way. In fact, it was sort of out of his way to go that direction. But still, Jesus said, I have to go through Samaria. And when he got there, he sat down by a well to rest. And his disciples went off to buy some food. And while they were gone, this very lady arrived at the well. And Jesus said to her, Please, will you give me something to drink? Now the lady was surprised. You see, Jesus was a Jew, and she was a Samaritan, and that was two people from two different countries that didn't like each other. So the Jews normally would speak to the Samaritans, but here was Jesus speaking to her. Also in those days, a man wouldn't normally speak to a woman who was there on her own. But remember, this lady was used to no one speaking to her. So she was a bit confused. Why is this man speaking to me? And she said to him, Why do you ask me for a drink? And Jesus said, If only you knew who I really was, you would be asking me for a drink, and I would give you a drink of living water. Well, they didn't really know what he was talking about. And he thought, well, how is he going to get some water? He just had to ask me for a drink. He doesn't have anything to get water from the well. How is he going to get me some drink? But Jesus went on to explain. He said, anyone who takes a drink of water from this well will get thirsty again. They'll get thirsty again very soon. But anyone who drinks of the living water that I will give will never thirst again. Now the lady said, Can you give me some of this water? Then I won't have to come and get water from this well every day in life. See, she hadn't really understood what Jesus meant. And they continued talking, and eventually the lady realized that Jesus was different. This man knew all about her. He even knew the bad things that she had done, and yet he was still talking to her. She thought to herself, maybe he's a prophet. So she started talking to him about God, and she asked him a few questions about worshipping God. And she started talking to him about worshipping God, and Jesus said to her, anyone who drinks the water from this well will never be thirsty again, and in fact, it will be like a well of water of eternal life within their soul. Remember we talked about in your soul? So the lady said to him, I know that the Messiah is coming. I know that the Messiah is due to come. And that's when Jesus said, that is me. I am the Messiah. I am Jesus Christ. Immediately the woman believed, and she ran back to her village to tell the other people there. And they believed what the woman said as well, and they came to see Jesus for themselves. In fact, he stayed there for another 2 days, preaching and teaching those people. And all because Jesus had a conversation with one sinful woman. She knew that she had done bad things. Jesus knew that she had done bad things, and yet Jesus still wanted to talk to her and teach her. no matter what bad things we might have done. You might have done anything terribly bad, but we've all done bad things. Jesus is still interested in us. But this living water that we were talking about, it is a little bit difficult to understand. So this morning I have a bit of an experiment here that might help us a little bit. Okay, so Keena, would you be willing to come up and help me this morning? It's not too difficult, okay? I think you'll be able to do it. Alright, now, okay, let's everyone see Keena. Okay, so this is going to be like our life, okay? And we've all done some bad things, haven't we? Not very nice things. Maybe some even worse things. Maybe some of us have even done some very bad things. I'm not saying you have, Keena, I'm just saying some people, okay? And then in the Bible, very often it talks about water as being life. And do you know why that is? Because you can actually live without food. You can live without food for a few months, but you can't live without water. Only about 3 days, 2 or 3 days, you have to have water. So the Bible talks about water as being our life. So let's add some water into our life. Let's full of bad things here. Now, Keena, what I want you to do is I want you to give that a good stir and get it all well mixed up for us. Now, give it a good stir. Lovely, well done. I hold it up for everyone to see. Who would like to drink this water? No. Okay. So what about now? Nicodemus had this idea that if he did some good things, that would make him good. So let's add some nice, fresh, good things in here. Give it up another stir. Let's have another look. Does that help? Yeah. Not really. Right, better do some more good things, and some more good things, and maybe lots more good things. Is that a good mix up, Keena? Let's see if it gets any better yet. No. I still wouldn't want to drink it. I know. I love this. What about this? So, and give that a good stir. Let's see. Right, who wants to come and have a drink? No. Right, so what Jesus was saying is we've got to get rid of all of this. We can never do enough to make it good. We've got to get rid of it all. But that's flashing out so sorry. And we've got to clean it all out. In fact, I'm not even going to take time to clean it all out, but we need to start afresh with a nice clean glass and have some of Jesus' living water. It's pure and fresh and clean. Now, who would like to drink this? So, what we're saying is it's all about what's on the inside. We've said this in Kids Church, we've said this in Kids Church before. It's not about the good things that you do on the outside. It's not about how you might try to make yourself look good. It's what's on the inside. Being born again and having the living water that Jesus talked about to the lady at the well. So now we're going to sing our song. I'm in right, out right, up right, down right, happy all the time. Okay, now, I told you in Kids Church, I don't like to sing anything unless it's true. So, I've said this before about this song, I'm happy all the time. No, there will be times in life when we're not happy. We're sad about something. Something has annoyed us. But if we have Jesus in our hearts, there's a different kind of happiness in there. We can always go to Him with our problems and our troubles, so that we should be a little happier than most people that have problems in their lives. We have someone that we can go to talk to about. So, in right, out right, up right, down right, happy all the time. It says Jesus Christ came in and washed away my sin, and that's what makes us happy. And then right, up right, down right, happy all the time. You did it nice and slow the first time. You did it a couple of times, you can fast each time.
I'm so glad I played in the car, I don't have to do the actions.
Start in right, okay?
I'm in right, up right, down right, down right, happy all the time. I'm in right, up right, down right, happy all the time. Then she gets back again, and wash away my sin. I'm in right, up right, down right, happy all the time. I'm in right, up right, down right, happy all the time. I'm in right, up right, Thank you, Janice.